Here they come like a flotilla of boats. Lovely old boat there. Just getting the pattern for my legs here. Even though I've drawn it on my original piece, I took my pattern off this one. So I'm making a pattern so I can transfer it to all the other four, and then I'll have a permanent record as well in case Prince William calls me and says I need a crib for my baby. How about it? Never know. I've had to do a little bit of reshaping, repositioning here. As you can see, I've let a piece in here to take the place of where I originally thought my mortise hole might go. I found it wasn't really ideal because the groove didn't really line up and I didn't have enough meat on the foredge of that top rail, so I let a piece in, refitted my tenon here. And inside this I now have enough material to put the groove and still have about 3/8 of an inch on the foredge of that top rail. So I'm happy with my positioning now. So I'm going to, and also by beveling this back edge here, it means I've got a place to run my plough against that edge when I come to run that foredge there, when I run the groove. So that's really been a good way to work out exactly what I need. So I've got everything repositioned now, so I'm ready to start fitting the opposite end. I'm on my way to work, and it's very wet and damp this morning. Leaves are falling after the colder weather. But the colours are just magnificent. Yellows, bright reds, golden yellows. It's really, I think it's just lovely to rest under the canopies periodically and be able to just enjoy the magnificent colour this time of year brings for us, really. When I'm on my way to work like this, I've usually spent some time, well, I've got to stop because there's a heron and I never can resist a heron, no matter what. Let me see if I can give you a quick glimpse of him over there. I don't know what it is about the heron, but there he is. He never seems particularly perturbed by me being here. I've always wondered, I've never actually seen a heron take a fish, or a frog or a toad or whatever. A little bit of movement. That long neck, see how it twists, and you know, when an artist or somebody sketches the heron, they always manage to capture that twist that goes from the underside of the beak down to the neck, and that how the feathers kind of swirl somehow. They hang, they're kind of long feathers and they seem to hang, and they accentuate this swirling a bit like a pleated skirt does. Hi everybody, this is Saturday morning and I have stopped working on a lot of my Saturday mornings, Saturdays, because I like to do other things, and today it's drizzly and mizzly, and I didn't really want to just be hanging around. I didn't want to write so much today, and I felt like I should come in and catch up on a few things. So I've got 2 or 3 small jobs to do here at the workshop in the garage. And I've also been working on my prototype crib because my grandbaby is due in about 4 weeks' time. So I want to have this prototype done, which I will use when the baby comes. But then I've got the filming of the oak one that I'm going to be doing to cameras. So I'm trying to get ready for that. A few little undone things. So I've been doing my layout, creating storyboards, making sure all the joints come together. I already have one end panel ready, already glued up, so this one is the next one. So I'm just catching up really and keeping up with everything, trying to prototype this one. I think I have the prototype together in my mind, so I'm really quite happy about that. Some other things I do from time to time is I have disconnected this from the wall, by the way. I get to test out bandsaw blades, and I buy them from different places, and then I try them. I trial them for a period, test them out, see which ones I think work the best for the work that I do. And also I like to try out different fences on different bandsaws or alternative fences. This is the fence that came with the bandsaw. It has a bit of a struggle setting it. You can get it perfectly set, but taking the fence off and so on isn't very easy. So I was looking at what were the options, and here is an option. This is the Carter mag fence number 2, which has a magnetic lock down here, which is actually really very firm. If you set it right, you have to set it right. So you've got 2 lockdowns on here, so this would go this side of the blade, and you of course have to twist this little turn button here. That lowers the magnet onto the surface and that sucks it to the surface. You do have to use a square, you do have to set it up, and you will have to have some way of checking this is square to the edge. If you want it square to the edge, sometimes we do offset them to take care of drift and so on in the machine itself because of the blade, or for different influences on the blade. So there it's set now, and it really is very solid. I can move it if I really shove on it, but I'm happy with the way it locks down. If you don't have a fence for your bandsaw, if you've got an older bandsaw, you fence is missing or whatever, this would be a good substitute. I think it'd be a great substitute. It's easy to unlock, it's easy to move off. You can add a couple of features to it, but I do like it. I think it's great. Actually, you could use it in union with another fence like this one if you wanted to. You can slacken off one of those. Once you've got your distance set, you can lock it back down, move it out of the way, and it's still square after you've done it. So yeah, there are some pluses for this. If you need an alternative or an additional fence, I think it's a good fence. This is the Thames first thing in the morning. The rushing water is the weir behind me. Lots of fishing. There's no shortage of food on the Thames. One of the cleanest rivers in Europe. Didn't used to be. Oh, this is nice. It's going. Imagine what it's like really making a crib for your baby, for your grandbaby, for your great grandbaby, whatever it is. And I don't know whether I've ever felt this way really before. This is one of those firsts for me, because I never did get a chance to make cribs and cots for my other children's children. So I'm enjoying this really. It's nice to be able to, when I found myself talking about the baby at first, but then I started talking to the baby in my own way, just, you know, getting prepared to welcome this baby into the world. And I kind of do that in all manner of things. You know, I'm one of those dumb people that talks to the trees when I'm walking through them, or sometimes I talk to a swan or a duck or anything that'll listen. So, but it's been fun this, because I found myself saying welcome to the baby from a distance, you know, from the distance of time, from the distance of the baby being a few miles away from here. And actually I think that I have done that with my other grandchildren, but not in the process of actually making something for them. So I hope you'll indulge me with this a little bit. This has really been fun. This is a prototype, as I think I may have told you, but from this prototype comes the oak model, which will go to woodworking masterclasses for the build, but then it will go into my son and daughter-in-law. It'll go to their house for the baby to grow into as it grows. So that's where it's going. So yeah, it's been great fun really. I always think when I'm out in the morning, and especially now in the winter, where the cobwebs stand out, or the spider's webs, not cobwebs, stand out so vividly. This is the silent life of nature, the silent workers, the ants and the spiders and everything else that goes on around us. And you see the vast variety of natural things that are quietly going about their business day and night. And suddenly you realize that there's a whole world of silence that's touching you and healing you, and you're working the whole time. This wildlife is taking its place in nature, and it's impacting you when you see it. You know, you stand amongst it. It's not that long ago that I was filming here, and there were pheasant jockeying for position for a partner, and competing with one another and calling from the tops of these stacks of hay and so on, and all of a sudden it's over and it's winter time, and you're immersed in it. I'm immersed in it right now, and when I shut the camera down I go back to being Paul, just the observer really, just being immersed in it and living in it, and it being a part of your life, and watching the sun come up into your life, warming your heart, warming your mind, warming your day. And in another hour all of this will be gone from sight. You won't see the light reflecting off the cobweb. Oh, there's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and I feel like I'm falling in love. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and I feel